Welcome back to the deep dive. So today our mission is really to crack the code on focus. Clarity, discipline, all that good stuff. And we're pulling these ideas from, well, a really compelling story, a motivational piece about a young boy named Kabir.
Right, and it's surprisingly actionable, I think. We're looking at how mental discipline isn't just, a nice to have. It can genuinely change your results, fundamentally.
Yeah, completely. Let's set the scene. Kabir, the boy in the story, he's smart, no doubt, but he was like, the classic case of information overload, right? Sits down to study, tries to read, and his mind just bounces. Restless, easily pulled away by games, friends, his phone, constantly.
That sounds familiar.
It's that everyday distraction that just eats away at productive time, especially when you're trying to tackle something complex.
Absolutely. And his father nails it with this really potent analogy. He says, the mind is like a wild horse. If you just let it run free, unchecked, it doesn't just wander, it bolts. It takes you way off course.
Into the wilderness, yeah. Or it feels like freedom, maybe, but it's actually just chaos.
It's exactly chaos.
Okay, but that ancient wisdom, taming the wild horse, that sounds good, but here's maybe a critical thought. Does that imply success is purely down to like relentless willpower? Because modern thinking, cognitive psychology suggests willpower isn't infinite. It runs out like a battery.
Right.
So does Kabir's journey offer something more structural, something beyond just brute force to harness that horse?
That is the crucial question, isn't it? And you're right. If it were just about forcing yourself, the story wouldn't offer much new. The real insight here, I think, is that discipline isn't about stopping the horse cold. It's more about building the stable and teaching the horse where to run. It starts not with sheer force, but with understanding, with structure.
Okay, structure.
Which is why Kabir's father doesn't just lecture him. He takes him to meet Guruji, a wise teacher known for helping young people, succeed.
Right. And Guruji doesn't give him a reading list or philosophy talk. He goes straight for like a practical, visceral experience. He hands Kabir a small glass filled with water. And the instruction is simple. Walk around the garden. Don't spill a single drop.
Simple, but profound, yeah. The difficulty is hidden in plain sight.
Totally.
And what's really key here is that Guruji doesn't put him in some soundproof room. No, he creates a real-world test environment. The story mentions the noise of the world. You hear birds chirping, leaves rustling, and crucially, other children laughing nearby.
Wow, that laughter. That's the killer distraction, isn't it? It's like the modern equivalent of that notification sound designed to pull your attention.
Exactly. That irresistible draw. What are they laughing about? What am I missing?
Yeah, that FOMO. And predictably, the story tells us every time Kabir gave in, every time he looked away towards the distraction, water spilled, he comes back with the glass half empty. We've all felt that, right? You start the day with a full glass, a full agenda, then you look up, it's mid-afternoon, and half your focus, half your day is just spilled away on quick tricks and random clicks.
It's so true. And Guruji's explanation afterwards, that's the real takeaway for you listening. He spells it out. The glass, that's your goal. Could be finishing a project, learning a skill, anything. The water inside, that's your focus, your attention, your most precious and finite resource.
Right, finite.
And all that noise, the chirping, the rustling, the laughter that represents the world, constantly vying for your attention.
Yeah.
Pulling you towards things that aren't your goal.
It really highlights that quiet, creeping cost of all those tiny distractions. It's not usually one big disaster that empties the glass.
No.
It's hundreds, maybe thousands of tiny spills. Each time you choose to shift your attention away.
And you lose everything before you know it, as Guruji says. That was Kabir's big aha moment. He got it.
Yeah, that light bulb moment.
Exactly. The core lesson. If you don't fiercely, proactively protect that water, the outside world will drain it for you. And that realization is what pushes Kabir from just understanding to actually doing something. Implementation.
Right. That's the pivot. He gets that taming the horse isn't just about wishing it would behave. It needs structure, consistent habits. So let's dig into those. The story gives us 4 specific, actionable steps he took. These feel like real gold for anyone feeling overwhelmed and wanting to get their focus back.
Okay, let's break them down. First one, waking up at the same time every single day. Now, on the surface, how does a consistent wake-up time connect to deep focus or resisting your phone later? It seems a bit unrelated.
It does initially, but it's about laying the groundwork. It's about reducing cognitive load before the day even really kicks off. When your wake-up time is all over the map, your body's constantly adjusting, right? Your biological clock is confused, and your brain, specifically the prefrontal cortex, which handles focus, is already using up energy just managing that inconsistency, that uncertainty. By locking in that rhythm, that consistent wake-up time, you eliminate a decision point. You stabilize the whole system.
You're freeing up mental bandwidth.
Exactly. You're essentially prepping the stable before you even ask the horse to run. It creates a foundation of predictability.
That makes sense. That stability is crucial. It's like a silent preparation for the harder mental work later. Okay, step 2. He tackles the big one. Limiting his phone use. We all know we should do this. But the how is tricky. How do you actually enforce limits without just relying on willpower, which, as he said, is flaky?
Yeah, willpower alone usually fails against the phone. The story implies Kabir moved beyond just trying harder to ignore it. He likely used structural changes. Maybe that meant using app timers or screen time limits built into the phone, or maybe deleting the most addictive apps, or at least moving them off the home screen.
Increasing the friction.
Precisely. Or even more physically, maybe putting the phone in another room during study blocks, or using one of those timed lock boxes.
Right.
The principle for us listening is, when you're managing powerful distractions like the phone, friction has to beat impulse. Make it harder to access than just giving in.
That's such a key insight. Make it effortful. If checking Instagram means getting up, walking across the room, maybe unlocking a box, suddenly that quick dopamine hit doesn't seem quite worth the effort. The wild horse thinks twice.
Exactly. It shifts the battleground away from your easily depleted willpower towards automated environmental control. Much more reliable.
Infinitely more reliable. Okay, third step, giving his full attention to whatever he did. This sounds like the direct antidote to his initial restless bird mind. It's basically deep work, isn't it? Just framed differently.
Totally. You could call it single tasking, mindfulness in action, deep work. The label doesn't matter as much as the practice.
And the benefit here is really about avoiding what psychologists call cognitive switching costs.
Explain that a bit.
Well, every time you switch your attention, even for a microsecond, like glancing at a notification, your brain pays a price, a hidden tax. It takes real time and mental energy to disengage from one thing and fully re-engage with the original complex task. You lose momentum.
Right. You don't just pick up exactly where you left off. There's a lag, a cost.
Exactly. So Kabir realized, by consciously deciding to focus only on the task at hand, whatever it was, he was eliminating those switching costs. This makes it more efficient, obviously, but also, crucially, it improves his memory retention.
Yeah. That's why his memory got better. It wasn't just about trying harder, it was about encoding the information more effectively because he was actually present.
He was making the water count, as you said earlier. Every drop was going towards the goal.
Making the water count, I like that.
Which leads nicely into the fourth tool, maybe the most explicitly mind-training one. Practicing meditation for a few minutes each morning. The aim, to train his mind to be calm and steady.
Okay, so meditation. This feels like where the ancient wisdom meets modern neuroscience, right? How does sitting quietly actually build discipline?
Well, think about what happens in simple focused meditation, like focusing on your breath. Your mind will wander. That's natural.
Yeah, mine does, constantly.
Everyone's does. But the practice isn't about preventing the wandering. It's about noticing it has wandered.
Yeah.
And then gently, without judgment, bringing your attention back to the breath. That act of noticing and returning, that is the exercise.
So it's like a mental push-up.
Exactly. You're strengthening a specific mental muscle. Specifically, you're exercising the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for executive functions.
Like holding your goal in mind despite distractions.
Precisely. The dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, or DLPFC, gets a workout. When the wild horse of your thoughts bolts off, that's the muscle that gently pulls the reins back. It's not about forcing silence. It's about mastering the return. Doing it again and again and again.
That's such an important point. So many people try meditation, their mind wanders 5 seconds in, and they think, oh, I'm terrible at this. I failed.
Right. They miss the point. The failure is the practice opportunity. Kabir's story underlines this beautifully. It says his transformation wasn't instant. His mind still wandered for weeks when he started these practices.
But he kept at it.
He kept gently pulling it back. That's the discipline. It's built through that consistent, patient repetition. Thousands of tiny corrections that gradually train the horse.
It's encouraging, actually. It's not about perfection. It's about persistence.
Exactly. And the story shows the payoff. Days become weeks, Weeks become months, and Kabir starts to feel the change. He notices his memory improving. His grades start going up. Tangible results.
He wasn't necessarily working more hours, perhaps, but the hours he did work were higher quality, more focused, more effective.
He'd sharpened his instrument. But the real test, the ultimate validation, came a year later. A big national competition is announced. The challenge: solving complex problems within a strict time limit. High pressure.
Okay, so this is like Guruji's water glass test, but scaled up. Way up.
Absolutely. The stakes are higher. The noise of the world isn't just birds chirping now. It's the ticking clock, the difficulty of the questions, the pressure of competition.
And the story draws a really clear contrast here between Kabir and his peers, doesn't it?
It does. Many other students started to panic. You can just imagine it. The pressure gets to them. Their minds scatter. They're thinking about the time running out, how hard it is, what the person next to them is doing, the fear of failure.
Their focus spills everywhere.
A wild horse just takes off, dragging them all over the place. Mental chaos under pressure.
But Kamak, he'd spent a year training for exactly this kind of mental storm. He stays calm, and he applies the Guruji lesson, the water glass lesson, directly to this high-stakes situation.
How? He focuses on one drop of water at a time. He doesn't let himself get overwhelmed by the whole massive test or the final prize or the clock. He focuses intensely, completely, on one question at a time.
Breaking it down, single-tasking under pressure.
Yes. He actively shuts out the cognitive noise that was crippling the others. He transforms this huge, intimidating challenge into just a sequence of manageable, single-focused tasks. Solve this one. Now solve the next one.
That disciplined approach, that fierce protection of his focus, that's what carried him through.
And it led straight to victory. When the results were announced, Kabir was the winner.
Wow.
And the story delivers this fantastic final insight from his win. It says he proves something crucial: that a disciplined mind is actually stronger than talent, luck, or even raw intelligence.
That's powerful. It implies focus isn't just something you're born with or not. It's a skill, a tool you can build.
Exactly. It democratizes achievement, in a way. It's not about innate gifts as much as cultivated ability, the ability to direct your own attention.
So Kabir earns his reputation in the village, not just as the smart kid, but as the boy who mastered his own mind.
Right. And if we bring this back to you, the listener, the story offers this final provocation. It suggests that your next chapter of success, whatever that looks like for you, begins the very moment you decide to genuinely commit to disciplining your mind.
The moment you decide to start training that wild horse.
The horse is waiting. It needs that consistent, dedicated rider, that structure.
It's a great challenge for all of us, really. And the journey, as Kabir showed, starts small with those simple structural steps. So the question to leave you with is, what's one small structural start you could make today? Maybe it's putting your phone in another room for just one focused hour. Maybe it's setting aside literally 5 minutes this morning to just sit, notice your breath, and gently practice pulling your focus back when it wanders.
Start with that one drop of water. Protect it.
Protect that one drop. That's where it begins.